Most bankers aren't ready to help you until after their third cup of coffee. But with Central National Bank's after-hours service, you don't have to wait for the bank lobby to open to get help. You can contact us from 6 to 8:30 in the morning or from 5 to 10 in the evening, and we'll connect you to a real, live, local person who can answer questions and fix problems 7 days a week. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. Member FDIC.
I tried to fight all through the night, deep in the heart of Texas. The trailer park is nice and dark, deep in the heart of Texas. That drinks his brew and he spits his chew, deep in the heart of Texas. The TV blares, but no one cares, deep in the heart of Texas. Here we go!
Hello and welcome back to Blah, King of the Hill Rewatch Podcast. I am Mike.
And I'm Rusty. I didn't miss my blah that time.
You did not. You did a great job.
Gave it on the money.
We are Season 2, Episode 15.
Yeah, moving through over halfway now because there's, 22 episodes, 23 episodes?
Yeah. This season seems like it's going faster than the last one did for some reason.
You know why?
Why?
Because we got 2 episodes a week now, Mike.
Oh, that's right.
So
yeah,
you guys can find us on Mondays and Fridays.
That's right.
But we have something different this next Friday.
Yeah, we're
going to
try something different. Yeah, we haven't.
event.
Artie, our fact checker, pointed out that he never gets to really hear like what we think about the show. We just kind of run through it, you know. And so we're gonna do one and then kind of give our feelings and talk about maybe an alternate ending and some stuff like that as an additional episode that we release on Friday, and then we'll see what the next week brings. We have experienced a lot of growth, and
the last 2 weeks have been
you have done a great job on Twitter and different places.
Like we've jumped to it's like 50% what it was this time last month.
Yeah, we're doing really great, and we're picking up a lot of new listeners. So welcome to everybody, and thank you.
Appreciate
for
everybody.
I want to say,
if you found us from Twitter, go tell me. You know, I'll respond. I respond to everything on all social media. I respond to everybody.
I want to thank all those that hung with us. Not only welcome our new listeners, but thanks to everybody that hung with us and maybe told your friends and family. And that's what a good MLM is built on. And
I want to give a pre-thank you because we're going to run through some stuff, and I got some trivia tidbits from Artie. I just want to go ahead and give him a shout out and thank him
in this
for that.
episode.
Yeah, he's got me some pretty good ones, and
That's
actually
excellent.
one that I really think you'll enjoy. I think you'll enjoy. It's an old TV.
Cool.
It's a TV trope, if you will. So. We'll hit that when we get a little closer to that end. Yeah, well, there's a plot line in here that is similar to a popular TV show from, I guess
Excellent.
70s, 80s.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to it.
All righty.
Okay, so we open this one. I love the way this show opens.
I like it. And there's there's a trivia tidbit right off the jump. So,
well, you want me to say what's happening first, and then you can tell me the
Go ahead. Trivia? Actually, I'll wait a minute till I get to the trivia.
So we open up on the CD jukebox, starting, and we find out it's in Khan's house.
Yep.
And Khan is singing the song "Mickey" by Tony Basil.
Yeah.
Basil?
Oh, Mickey,
Basil,
you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind. Hey, Mickey. It just reminds me of cheerleading movies.
I love the way that he doesn't know the words. That's my favorite part of it. He sings it all out of order and stuff. And then one of my favorite memes of all time for King of the Hill is they go outside and they pan over to Hank. He's watering his grass, and he takes that water and puts it to his head like a gun and just shoots himself.
Oh, with the water hose. That whole scene.
Fantastic.
I like that scene. That's a great one.
And then we get our credits. No bell, no yell.
Refreshments.
We get that, and then now we're in the Hill kitchen,
in the kitchen.
And
you'll never see that door again from that one episode.
Hank, the first thing we see is Hank looking in the dishwasher, and he has washed all his tools in the dishwasher, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
He gets his wrench
out.
A great
way to ruin some good dinner plates, get oil and grease all over them.
He gets his wrench out, and you see in the back while Peggy and men are talking, he's back there with a caliper, readjusting his wrench, making sure it's just
making
right.
sure everything's just right. Yeah.
So we hear from Peggy, and she's telling men that she didn't have to bring cookies. Hearing about Connie's academic achievements is all the treat that they need. And
very condescending.
Yeah. Men's like,
what's funny because they go and it seems like anytime that they're in any of the girls meet up, it's all just a pissing match.
It really is.
Yeah.
But
less so with Nancy and Peggy.
Nancy has her own stuff to worry about.
But generally when it's men and Peggy.
Oh, men and Peggy, absolutely. But Min is talking about how she's going to take this luxury trip to Mexico.
Yeah.
And Peggy, of course, pronounces Mexico Mexico, which I love that.
And then she said, Hank and I used to go every time they devalued the peso. And then Hank said, well, that got old pretty quick. Yeah.
She says, Min says, we stay in beautiful Mitad duplex condo with Khan's brother.
You know what
family.
Mitad means? Did you look it up? I looked it up just so I'd know what it means because I wanted to make sure that Peggy was using it correctly or incorrectly.
Correct?
It means half or middle or medium or mid-size.
Yeah.
So the whole time they're saying Mitad.
Yeah.
They're not thinking that's half duplex.
Yeah.
So Khan is setting up this deal to go with whoever they're going with or whatever they discuss.
It's Khan's brother and family.
Yeah, his brother and family or whatever. And what's funny about it is
which
Mitad
you never see, by
means
the way.
half.
Yeah.
So they're ordering half of what they think.
Yeah, they have no idea. But she's showing her the brochure of this condo, and Peggy's
looks nice.
So lovely. And then she asks her what Mitad means in English. First class, deluxe. She says, Mitad.
That's one of those words that doesn't translate easily. You either know it or you don't. Yeah, that's not how that works.
She says extra special luxury, and she says it conveys the
idea
of
simple
but relatively clean living. Yeah. So now we're back at Khan's house, and Khan is pretty pissed off. He says, stupid brother, now he's back out on trip, and we stuck a full charge for condo rent. That's why we never see him.
Yeah.
He says he can't afford that because he just bought that big CD jukebox.
Okay, now this is where the trivia comes in.
Which comes in later also.
Yeah. This is where I was going to inject the trivia. Yes, that's what I was going to say. So anytime we see their house, inside of their house from here on out, it always shows that you will always see the jukebox in their house for the rest of the series.
Do you remember the CD jukeboxes? Like that?
No, I don't actually. One of my dad's brothers, my uncle, he had a jukebox. A big like
45s.
It was probably his was not like one of the the rounded ones. His was like an old square one that you stood over and it had like the push buttons. It was older.
Yeah, it's got like
it wasn't flashy with neon lights.
It's got
or nothing.
like the flat top.
It was like one of the old bar ones. Yeah, the old flat top ones.
Yeah, like you would see in a diner or a whatever.
Yeah, like a diner, or maybe even like a
bar.
I've seen them in
more often.
I've seen them at bars. I was working with my dad when I was 18, and we were going out to East Texas to like Jasper, Winnie, Beaumont area out there, and we went to a bar. And it had a really old, this was like in the 2000s, and it had like a jukebox from the 70s.
Did it have a cigarette machine also?
Yeah, it's not a cigarette machine.
Yeah.
But they were like
those cigarette machines, man.
C attendant. So you had to go like to the counter and give them the money because the cigarette machine didn't actually work. So they would go over to it with the kids with the key and open it.
I think they actually made them illegal at some point.
Yeah, I think
so.
They are.
Yeah, you couldn't dispense the cigarettes anymore
because kids could go inside of there and dispense their own cigarettes.
Yeah, it used to be, man. Those things were in every bar.
That's what the problem was.
Back
teenagers,
70s, 80s, boy, those things were everywhere.
I mean, even when I was a teenager, they were still in bars.
And it had a,
and you could go in the bar with like your dad or something like that.
Oh, sure.
You know, and somebody turned their back, and you just throw a $5 in there and get you a pack of cigarettes.
It wasn't even $5 back then. Like you'd put quarters in it.
Yeah.
But it had a very, you knew what was happening when you heard that thump. You know,
yeah, you could hear it.
Yeah,
and it had the pull deal or whatever, and it would drop the cigarette pack.
Yeah, well, it's a time gone by. That,
it is.
Everybody had cancer. It was great.
Yeah.
So
I can't breathe, and I don't know why. Let me light another cigarette. Maybe that'll help.
They do see Hank walking Ladybird, and Con gets an idea and says maybe Cracker Neighbor can be some use to us out after all. Goes out
so
to,
Cracker,
neighbor.
maybe Cracker Neighbor. So that is a Caucasian slur there.
Yes.
But I got a funny story about that too. So here recently on Twitch. Twitch was banning people who were using cracker again, like
really
in a
derogatory
way, saying, "Oh, you're a cracker," and people were getting banned for saying the word cracker, and it was, I don't know, it was this whole thing on Twitch for like a good few months where there was some top talent on Twitch that was getting banned for just calling people crackers. Yeah.
Well, I have a shirt that says cracker on it, real big, and it's got a trailer on it. Oh, yeah. And I've worn that before, and good. People are like, "Ha, that's funny." You know, they don't understand. It's the band. It's the band cracker.
Oh,
I got it at a show. Yeah, I'm not wearing it to make a political statement.
If it had a like a really like 4K HD quality saltine on a shirt.
Yeah. Oh, they have a few of those. Yeah. I just thought the one with the trailer on it was cool, and then all of a sudden when I wear it, people go, "Ha, you're funny because you're white." And so I wore it to a show one time, and it was my wife loves the country music, and so we went to see a country act, and that's where I got called out for it the most. They all thought I was really making a statement there.
Yeah,
I was not. I was just wearing a T-shirt.
You should have just went in there with a red hat on and that shirt.
This was before that. This was before the red hats.
Okay.
Yeah. That would have done me in. So we transition over to the Hill House. This is later. Apparently, Con has talked Hank into going to Mexico, and they're having a taco dinner, which is lovely because Peggy has prepared the taco shells and the meat separately.
Oh yeah, it's ready to go.
Stuff.
It's a good old gringo taco meal.
It is a gringo taco meal.
The hard shell tacos,
cracker tacos.
Cracker tacos.
But you see. Okay, so there's a thing, and we haven't even gotten through the first page here yet.
No,
there is a thing.
It's all good.
When you buy those pre-made taco shells. You're supposed to heat them up in the oven first.
Oh, you are?
You are. It makes them crispier, and that's why she brings it out on a sheet pan. Right, because she's warmed them up.
You know what the widest thing in the world is? What? It's not putting them in the oven. That's even worse.
So I was going to say, my wife never puts them in the oven.
Never puts them in the oven. I've never put them in the oven.
I'm like, I got to put it in the oven. So I always put them in the oven. No, the widest thing in the world is I bought
mayonnaise on your tortillas.
No.
Store-bought tortillas.
I do have store-bought tortillas, but non-carb store-bought tortillas. That is the widest tortilla. Yeah. I bought these red things. They are probably about 6 inches long or so and have cutouts in the middle of them, and they are specifically to hold your tacos straight up and down until you eat it.
Oh, okay.
It's function.
Well, I like it.
Right? I like function.
Because it works with the soft taco, too.
You know, that just makes me think. I bought a thing on Kickstarter also not long ago. Well, no, it was a while back, and I never got it.
Oh, you need to call them.
What it was it was the same kind of thing, but it was for your hamburger. It expands, and you could hold your hamburger so the juices don't drip.
Oh, wow.
It was actually kind of cool. It was made out of rubber or something.
That sounds pretty cool.
Made out of lead.
I eat a lot of hamburgers, so
yeah. It was, but it expands to hold the size of your hamburger. Like it's like a drain pipe or something.
I'm a bad King of the Hill fan though, because I prefer my burgers with smoke flavor.
Yeah, I do too. I'm sorry, Hank.
I think Hank does too.
Sorry,
deep down inside.
Sorry, Mr. Judge. So they're having the big taco dinner, and Hank is explaining, well, sure, there's some pros and cons. It's a good deal. I guess there's nothing tying us to the house now. We've got automatic sprinklers.
Yeah, he couldn't go on vacation because he couldn't water his lawn.
But there's also cons, and the biggest one being con. Peggy brings up that she saw the brochure. The condo is 2 stories and very metod.
Very metod.
You would barely have to see him. And Hank's taco just crumbles in his hand, which was always a problem. So when you do heat them up in the oven, they do get more brittle. Okay. So his taco. So I identified with this scene very much so that the taco just goes to dust. Yeah.
Kind of like
because she cooked them too long.
Bottom of a bowl of chips.
Yeah,
little
yeah.
dust
It's all chip dust.
It's all dust.
And he says, well, if we stayed home, I wouldn't have to see him at all. I can't think of a better vacation than that. And
talking about dang old dust in the wind.
Peggy says, but it's also an opportunity to learn about another country. The last time that Bobby went to Mexico, he was still on the breast. And, of course, Bobby's taco crumbles at that comment.
Yeah.
It just explodes. Luann is sitting there also, and she says she loves Mexico because they fast-track new makeup straight to the consumer. Because here in the U.S., the FDA, they test for years. They don't care how you look.
No, it reminds me of, like, how much lead used to be in, like, makeup back in the day.
Yeah. Oh, there used to be all kinds of stuff in makeup.
But it was all the rich people used to, like, all those things were like, do
you remember
regular everyday people didn't have that stuff.
Do you remember the big thing? What kills me is like if you go out and price like face cream, it's like $500 a jar or something. I mean, it's ridiculous what they do. They just they mark it way up and women pay it, and I feel terrible for them because they think they have to have it. But it's part of the system that keeps telling them you got to have this thing.
Yeah, that's the media and everything.
It's gross. Peggy pipes up and says, "Come on, Hank, I can replace. I can finally replace that paper mache pear I got when I was an exchange student in Oaxaca." She says,
"Yeah, she said Oaxaca." Really, she said it really hard. To Oaxaca.
Now, have you, you know what she's talking about with like the paper mache fruit?
Yeah. No, I don't know what that is. No, I can't say that I know.
So,
or why she would be so like
70s and 80s,
hunting it.
70s and 80s. They would. It was a big thing, and the frogs you'll see later were also a part of the thing.
Yeah,
but it was just paper mache fruit. So it was made in Mexico. It was real cheap. A lot of women would go over there and get it, or a lot of people, would go over and get it and then display it at their house like it's some big delicacy or something,
Okay.
It's one of those things where you have
it's one of those like fake fruit bowl things.
It's a fake fruit bowl, but it's paper mache and it's made in Mexico, and they're always kind of a little yellowish because of the coating they put on it and stuff. Anyway.
That's peculiar.
She's got to replace her paper mache pear that she got as an exchange student in Oaxaca. Bobby pipes up and says, "Come on, Dad, it's a real-life home of TV's Monsignor Martinez." Now, this is the second time for Monsignor Martinez, right? Okay. And
I believe so, yeah.
Hank agrees. Artie, you can check us on that. Hank agrees and says, "Well, okay, if you all want to go, but I guess it's Buenos Dias, Mexico." And he says it correctly. You know?
He says it correctly, Buenos Dias, and then she tries to say, "Oh, Peggy. Hank, I'm sorry, but you just said good gods, Mexico."
She's
and
just
Dias
laughing.
Is day. Dios is God.
She says
God is masculine.
She's like, "Oh, Hank, I'm sorry, but you just said good gods, Mexico." She does everything wrong when it comes to Spanish.
Yeah, Dios is God. I think it's because Dias Day is feminine and Dios is masculine.
Yeah.
I think God is masculine in Spanish. I'm pretty sure God is masculine in all languages.
Hot take. Okay, so now we're outside and they're packing the car, ready to go.
Scorching.
And of course, the other guys are out there watching them pack the car. And Dale says, "I wish I could go on a luxury Mexican vacation. It must be pretty expensive to stay in one of those Me Todd condos."
I love how everybody keeps saying "Me Todd" and don't know what they're
That's right.
don't
They have
understand
no
how
idea what they're
detrimental
talking
it is to the whole situation.
He says, "Must cost at least $500. Maybe you got it for $350. How much you paying?" I don't know why he cares how much this thing costs, but whatever. And then you get a boomhauer. I tell you what about Mexico, man. You go down there and load up on the dang old chicklets, man. You go wheeling, dealing, watch them dang old guys talking about Caminos dos.
Yeah, I like how he stops. He goes, "Caminos dos mujeres." He just stops and says it really good.
Mujeres.
Yeah.
So I remember going to Mexico when I was a kid.
I've never been.
It was a very long time ago. And I do remember like the kids running up beside the cars and stuff, and they're like, "Chicle, mister, chicle." And so that's what he's referring to. Yeah, they would sell gum individually, by the piece.
Yeah, I've never
just
been
trying
to
to make
Mexico.
a few
I've
coins,
been close.
yeah.
I've been to Brownsville area and stuff like that. I've been to places where they're like stopping you at like border checkpoints.
Yeah.
And then you have to like give them your ID, and they look at your ID and then let you go, kind of thing.
Especially now.
That's pretty. That's really close. That was in 2009, 2008 when they were doing that. So they've been doing it for a long time.
Bill is also there, and he says, I think it's nice that you're going away, Hank. You need a good vacation with your new best friend, Con, who you love so much.
Yeah, he's jaded about this deal. Yeah.
He is.
He said, yes, Bill, I love Con. Maybe if this trip's work out, I'll marry him and live in Mexico forever. Is that what you want to hear?
Bill's like, no.
No. Yeah, he got all wimpy and sad on him.
He did. All right, so they get on the road. They get on the road. Con and family are in the minivan, the little blue minivan.
Yeah, and he's starting to get pissed off because he's doing that thing where he tries to pass her, but every time he tries to pass her, she speeds up, so he's got to slow back down and get behind her.
Is it weird that Peggy's driving?
No, because it's her car. Anytime it's in her car, she does a lot of. This isn't the only time when it's in her car. Sometimes she'll be driving.
I thought it was weird.
Sometimes
like
Hank is driving in her car, and he's always driving, from what I understand, in her truck.
Yeah.
But sometimes when they're both in her car, she does some of the driving.
I just think it's weird that they're doing a 9-hour trip and Hank wouldn't want to drive. You know, it just seems like he's the kind of guy that would want to
drive the whole 9-hour trip. Yeah, he does seem like that guy. I don't know, but that is actually against Texas law to do that. When somebody's trying to pass you,
and
then
I thought you meant drive your wife's car.
Well, no, it's not against the law. No, this isn't an Andrew Tate situation. But whenever you're trying to pass somebody like that on the highway, and then you speed up and you keep speeding up and you keep preventing them from passing you, that's against the law.
Oh, I can see why it would be.
Yeah.
But Con is in the minivan behind the hills, and he says, every time I try to pass, hillbilly woman speed up. And Min's
it's
like, don't be silly.
Foot.
Peggy Hill not even thinking about you. And then it goes to him trying to get around them, and Peggy's driving and stuff.
I want to point out here that this is a great example of terrible parenting.
Yeah.
Is teaching your children
absolutely
to do something extremely dangerous.
Remember that Lou Ann's
could
still
cause
working.
A damn wreck.
She's still working on her license. You know, she said that not long ago. Yeah. Bobby is back there learning from everything his parents do. And Peggy just speeds up and goes, thanks again, hot shot. And so she anyway, they think it's very funny.
Yeah, they do.
They get to the Mexico border, and then Con, he gets in the breakdown lane or the non-passing lane and pulls right around them, which I can't imagine that a cop at the Mexico border wouldn't pick him out and go, listen, dude, you can't do that. Pull over. We got to check your car. You know, that would be like the sore thumb.
That's what I would think. Is they would pull over the dude that's being erratic, not the guy just sitting there in his car.
No, you would think so. But Con pulls around. He thinks it's so funny. And then
in Texas, it doesn't matter, if you're brown, you're Mexican.
Yeah.
So I feel like a border patrol guy wouldn't be able to discern, what's this guy doing? Is he smuggling something?
Yeah.
I feel like people down there, especially on the border down there, I know there's a lot of
so you start seeing
racism.
You start seeing the border guards and stuff around because we're at the Mexico border. And Hank speaks up and says, hey, did you see that? You're making a mockery of the breakdown lane.
That'd be something my dad would say. He gets pissed when people are like that, and then they use the shoulder to go all the way around because the turn, it's like a turn-only block. It takes forever for them to hit their right turn.
I'll pull over on the shoulder and keep you from going.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I do that.
I've seen 18-wheelers do that. I've seen guys do that in big trucks because they don't like people passing them on that side.
So we're at the border, and we see the big razor wire fence and everything that separates the two countries. And Bobby asked why there's such a big fence, Dad. And he said, well, millions of people come to America in search of a better life, and we've decided we don't need that many. And so Bobby says, did the Susanuzophones come through that fence?
And he said, no, Bobby, Con applied the legal way. Sometimes the system fails us, which it does. I actually have been through immigration. I've actually been through the entire immigration process. And I was denied my citizenship. And my brother was given his citizenship at the same exact time they denied me and approved him.
Oh, wow.
Because I was over the age of 18 when we started the process, and there was some weird, law or some weird interpretation of the law.
Yeah.
And the way it works is the immigration officer that's over your hearing, and it's just you and them and your lawyer in the room negotiating or whatever it is, and they get to interpret how the law is, and then you can appeal it and go through a whole appeal it process.
Yeah.
But I never did the appeal it process, and I just carried the green card or whatever. But yeah, man, I went through it. The system.
So your brother
was
Con and you were Hank.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so.
So we see the border guards walking up with a clipboard. He walks right past Kahn's minivan. Again, I would think that he would be the one you'd check out. Kahn sticks his head out. He's laughing. He's chuckling. And he says, hey, check out this dangerous character. Ooh, watch out. You think he's running guns?
Sir, pull your vehicle over to the inspection area, please.
Again, it's one of those things where it's like yelling fire in a movie theater or bomb at an airport or something. You know, you would
That's
think
usually the person that gets in trouble.
This is the guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
tell him you were joking, Kahn.
Yeah, Hank is like trying to get in front of this thing, and Kahn says, let him look. You got nothing to hide. See you at the Kahndo. Pulls off and just goes right through the Mexican border, which, again, nobody even checked him.
Nobody checked him.
Nobody checked him.
Nobody even checked him at all. Just let him ride right through.
The Hills pull over to be checked, and we see a bunch of officers come around. Then we transition over to the 2-floor condo, the Mitad condo. And we get Paul Rodriguez, who is voicing Jacinto, the guy who owns the condo. That is Paul Rodriguez, the comedian.
Oh, Paul Rodriguez, the comedian.
Yeah,
I knew his son a little bit better than him.
I just knew the voice, so I had to look it up.
Yeah. I know his son better than him. His son is Paul Rodriguez Jr.
Yeah,
and he's a professional skateboarder.
Oh, okay.
And I used to watch a lot of his skateboarding stuff.
Yeah.
I don't really know Paul Rodriguez, the comedian.
He was a stand-up comedian. Yeah,
as I know. I know of him, but I only know him because I was like, oh well, he's a junior, and then you hear, oh well, his dad's a famous this, a dad's a famous this.
So he was bigger 80s and 90s.
Looked and saw what his dad was. Yeah, I wasn't watching much stand-up comedy at that age.
Yeah. But he is giving them a tour through the Mitad condo, and he says, don't steal the towels. You take our charge. This is a mini bar. You use, you pay. The mini bar is amazing to me because it's just one of those tiny little mini fridges and a coffee maker. That's really all it is, but it's a mini bar. And then he says, and now for a tour of the condo. You get a wide shot of the condo, and he goes, condo. That's it. That's the entire tour.
That's it? Yeah.
Yeah, now Kahn is realizing what's happening. He says, wait a minute, where the rest of it? I pay for Mitad condo, 2 floors. This condo, plenty Mitad, but only 1 floor. What are you trying to pull? Oh, bait and switch? And that's where Paul Rodriguez or Jacinto tells us that Mitad means half, just downstairs, not upstairs. Comprende? Kahn is furious. He says, just upstairs, I can't spend a whole weekend squished side by side with redneck neighbor. He said, no, don't worry about redneck neighbor. Nobody's rented the upstairs. It's completely vacant. So this gives him an idea. He says, but where the bathroom? And Jacinto says, oh, there's only 1 bathroom. He says, but hey, the tub is big enough for 2 people.
Big enough for 2 people like him and Hank are going to snuggle.
And then you just hear Kahn scream as the Hills pull up.
Yep.
And that is our commercial break. So we're going to take one right there, and we will be right back.
I try to fight all through the night, deep in the heart of Texas.
All right, we are back, and now everybody is in Mexico at the Mitad condo, which we have now found out means half.
Mitad means half. This is where the whole kid and caboodle blows up in their face.
Kahn is there trying his hardest to get into the top floor because he doesn't want to share the condo or the bathroom.
Yeah, he's just wiggling some random key in the lock, hoping to rake the pins.
He says, I come to see Mexico, not Hank Hill squeezing into this year's butt into last year's swimsuit. He finally gets the door open, and then the Hills are getting out, and you hear Hank say, oh, no, you're not getting upstairs, not after what you did to me back at the border. Kahn's like, oh, okay, you take high-class penthouse with view. We take downstairs hovel. And he throws him the key. He
tells him that the lock's a little sticky and you got to rake it like there's no tomorrow.
And Hank's like, this is a car key.
Yeah, you win new car. Big game show. Just rake it, stupid, and then leaves.
And Hank, of course, well, it probably just needs a little WD-40.
And it's funny that he packs WD-40 because this is right here where he screams at Peggy, which bag has our bathroom stuff?
Then we go to the next day. Beautiful sunshine. There you see the beach right next to the condo. You hear the Mexican trumpet music that plays you in and out and all that. It's very, very nice.
Yeah, beautiful little scene right here.
Yeah, very neatod. And so now we've got everybody outside and they're getting ready to go tour Mexico. I want to point out that Peggy is wearing the most touristy outfit that you possibly can, which
can wear
culottes, visor, and tourist book in hand.
And then she also has on the fanny pack, right?
Yeah.
I think she had a fanny pack on too.
Yeah, absolutely.
If she didn't, she probably did.
So she says, come on, kids. Andale, and she says we're off to the paper mache district.
Yeah, the paper mache district. The whole district full of paper mache.
And then we see Connie whispering over to Bobby. She says, we got to sneak off on our own. And he says, Mom, can Connie and I go play volleyball?
Yeah, he looks around. He's like, oh, yeah, hey, can we go do that?
Peggy's like, well, yeah, make sure you just apply plenty of sunscreen, honey. We are much closer to the sun here than in Texas, which that's not true.
And then Peggy, we go to the switch scene where they're at the market and she's looking around.
Well, before that, we get Hank. He's trying to fix that doorknob. He's got a big can of WD-40.
Oh, yeah. I moved a little far.
He's trying.
He's got this is one of the best scenes in King of the Hill history here.
Absolutely.
With the hip holster.
So he's trying to get in. He can't get his can of WD-40 open, so he pulls from his holster a smaller can of WD-40, sprays that one, and then gets the top
lid,
off.
Yeah, which I don't know really that's how WD-40 works.
It is not, but it's a great joke.
But it is a great joke. And I need a damn hammer and a tap and die.
Yeah, that's right.
That's one of my favorite jokes.
I need a damn hammer.
That's one of those iconic sound bites. Yeah.
So we're at the market with the ladies now, and Peggy is telling them that the market is just too tacky. Yeah. And this is where we get our shot of the frogs. So these frogs,
the Mexican frogs,
they were generally real frogs that had been taxidermied and put in positions that were funny. So like, oh, look, this one's a cook.
Or look, this hello, my darling.
This one's
like
playing
WB,
tennis.
like the WB frog.
Yeah.
Shout out to the WB.
Well, the WD dead frog. Yeah. I did see a cartoon one time where the WD frog got hit over the head and put into one of the blocks to build a building. I don't remember what that was for, but it was funny. So we're at she tells them that because of these frogs and stuff, she says they're not going to have these paper mache pears here.
And then we get Luann.
Oh, Luann
looking at this
illegal
makeup.
De Sol, the illegal beauty secret of the stars, not scars. She puts on her scarf and glasses, kind of like she's hiding.
Which is kind of weird that she would do that. Like, she literally standing in front of the window, puts it on, and slides in like she didn't want to be seen. I had a trivia bit right here from our fact checker here. He said, it's the La Leche de Sol. It's about that. And he says here that La Leche de Sol eventually is the same cream that you see Luann give to Nancy in an episode called The Trouble with the Gribbles, which also gives a continuity problem because she's seen flushing it down the toilet in this episode. Yeah. And that's what it ends up being, like a continuity issue, because in that episode she hands her the cream that she supposedly flushed.
Maybe they make it legal in the U.S. at some point, or maybe she got some from.
Maybe that's from episode Nancy. 102. Maybe Nancy has some. Whatever episode that is, 102.
Yeah, so it goes pretty far. So she ducks in there. Now we're back with Connie and Bobby, and she says, "Look, Bobby, firecrackers." It's a store called Curios and Firecrackers, which very original store.
Very original.
They go in, and Bobby is just taken aback. He says, "Bueno, M80s. Those are a quarter stick of dynamite."
Which is funny how everybody's Spanish is always better than Peggy's Spanish.
Oh, Peggy's Spanish is the worst. But they pan across, and you see
M80s.
Well, you see M80s and then M200s.
M200s,
And he doesn't say anything about that because Connie is like, "Oh my gosh, La Bamba." And he says,
no, he goes, M80s. Those are a quarter stick of dynamite.
Right. And then we see the M200s. She says La Bamba. She sees that. And then he's like, those can blow your whole arm off. So next scene, Hank is at the bar. I guess he's had enough of trying to.
You missed it.
Yeah.
This is the La Monsieur.
Well, that's what I'm getting to. Yeah. He's at the bar because I think he's gotten enough of the WD-40.
Yeah.
And he is watching Monsignor Martinez on the TV there at the bar.
Yeah. My bad.
And it is Los Días de las Noches. So I think that's our days and nights. Right,
our days and nights,
Yeah, and so we see a blonde guy jump out of the airplane. Then we see the Monsignor jump out right after him.
Yeah.
Neither one of these dudes has a parachute on.
Neither of them.
The Monsignor says, "Vaya con Dios." And then we see them both falling, and they're fighting in midair as they're falling.
Yeah.
And that's where Hank looks away. And he he gets a what I'm assuming is a Corona with a lime in it, and Hank just like, ooh, and throws the lime out, and just drinks his beer.
And then a lime slaps the bar near him.
Yeah, because Khan is down there yelling,
yeeted it down there.
This is a beer, not a fruit salad. And then Hank is like, well, why can't you find your own bar? He says, I have the same coupon book as you. I just want beer. This is a free country, isn't it? And then here come the mariachis.
He's like, isn't it? Like he was asking. He wasn't telling him it was a free country. He was asking him. He's like, isn't this a free country?
Then you see the mariachi guys start to approach, and Hank's like, uh-oh, no, I don't want this. No. Look, if you want to make money, play for that guy. And he's pointing to Khan, and he says, he's rich. Mucho dinero.
Mucho dinero. And I was watching this with subtitles on, and it spells out dinner, and then it puts a hyphen in O. It says dinner O. Yeah,
that's great. And so they all talk amongst themselves, and then they go over to Khan because they figure they can get some money out of him. And he says, what? Oh, no, you think I'm sucker? You sing for me, I sing for you. And that's when he starts singing, That's What I Like About You.
That was a theme song to a TV show, wasn't it?
I don't know. It
was a sitcom with Amanda Bynes.
Is it what's the band that sings That's What I Like About You?
Oh, I don't even know the band's name.
It was the 80s. It was a big band. Well, I would say a big band. It was like a one-hit wonder band in the 80s. And they had a...
Oh, and the show is called What I Like About You, duh.
Yeah.
It was Jenny Garth. It was Jenny Garth and Amanda Bynes that were sisters.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's what it was about.
All right. This is... who sings the theme song to... who sings the theme song to King of the Hill? Tell me again.
The Refreshments.
Refreshments. Okay, this is the Romantics that do That's What I Like About You. They had a very stripped down video on MTV, but it played all the freaking time. It was just the 4-piece or whatever they are, and they were just playing in a studio somewhere.
Oh yeah, before Rob Dyrdek took over MTV Studios.
Yeah, this was way before that. Yeah,
I can't hate him. The dude made
I know.
buku bucks off of that crap.
I know. So now we are back with Bobby and Connie. They have bought the
and they're
La Bamba.
deliberating what to do with it, and it's
trying to figure out what to do.
It's like half the size of Bobby.
Yeah. She says, how about that trash can over there? Let's blow that up. He says, if this were a cherry bomb, I'd say yes, but this is La Bamba. And then he starts looking around, trying to find something. He sees the post office box or the mailbox, and then he sees the mail truck. He sees a porta potty, which I thought was a good idea.
Yeah, that would be good.
And then for some friggin' reason, we see an Italian statue with spaghetti in his lap, which seems very out of place for me for a Mexican village.
Well, I think it might have been like a restaurant.
It is a restaurant, but I'm saying it is a
Mexico.
weird. It just seems like you're in the. For God's sakes, you're in the paper mache district.
Oh yeah,
and you see the
God forbid Italian restaurant in the paper mache
and
district.
The name of the Italian restaurant is Che Pasta.
I think what happens is there's like a problem with like the humidity caused by paper mache, so they have to yeah. They have to have.
I think what it is
good for pasta.
Is people think that Mexican food is all Tex-Mex. They get down there and they go, "Ooh, I don't like this kind of Mexican food."
Yeah, you go
so
down
they
there.
go, "Oh, look, spaghetti. Let's have that."
You go to Mexico to eat at a Taco Bell.
Yeah,
that was actually one of the international markets. There's a whole video I watched, like an hour-long video, where they talked about the attempt for Taco Bell to open in Mexico.
I think I've seen that.
And how it completely failed with
every
attempt.
Why wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you could go like to your abuelita's house around the corner and go get fresh tortillas, or you could go get the crap made at a factory from Taco Bell.
So they see this Italian statue with the spaghetti in its lap,
they put it in his lap, fire it up.
They're like, "My God, this is it.
Time to make a statement.
This is our chance to make a statement." So they put the giant La Bamba in his lap, and they light it on fire and run away real quick.
It's like the IRA,
and nothing happens.
Yeah, nothing happens.
They just wait and wait and wait. So then we're back
to Khan singing the song.
Yeah, we're back at the bar.
Do you know who sings the song that he's singing there?
This is They Blinded Me with Science. Toot, She blinded me with science. Tell me the guy's name because I'm not
Thomas
remember. There you go.
Dolby.
Thomas Dolby.
Yeah.
And Hank is like, that's a pretty good job, Con. I've never heard that song sung with only one note before.
Yeah, and all about rhythm.
He says, bartenders, two cervezas, por favor. So this is when another one of those chances for Hank and Con to kind of be friends, because he was kind of impressed the fact that he ran those guys right off.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a, every now and again they let the wall down a little bit. So I think they want to be friends more than they,
I think they do.
They love to hate each other.
Con turns out to kind of be a turd in this one, but
yeah, he does at the end for sure.
Anyway, we go back to Bobby and Connie, and they're still in the street. They're waiting for this thing to go off. Still, nothing has happened. We're assuming several minutes have passed. Which, if you know anything about dud firecrackers, they do go off occasionally a lot later.
Yeah.
Because they will simmer.
They can. Yeah,
so you better watch those suckers.
For sure.
Kids, stay away from the Lobambas.
Kind of like a incense, how it burns real slow.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely
same kind of effect.
What do you call those things you light a firecracker with?
Oh, punk.
A punk. There you go. Okay. I don't think they call them punks anymore.
I don't
P-U-N-K.
think punk was ever right. I think it was pump.
No.
Is what it was.
Come on.
Because you're pumping.
It's like
you're pumping. It's like lighting a cigarette with a cigarette. It's pumping. You're pumping the cigarette.
No. My whole life's been a lie. Is that what you're telling me?
I'm pretty sure that's what they're called.
Let's see if the internet.
Let's see if the internet
knows.
Has the word.
Yeah, that my dad always called them punks, like the little things, and they would give you a bunch of those. It felt like getting paint at Home Depot, where they give you a bunch of stir sticks, which they now charge you for.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It is a punk.
Oh, thank God.
It is a punk. It is safer than a match or a lighter because it can be used from a greater distance. Doesn't use an open flame. They're made of bamboo and a brown coating of compressed sawdust.
It's like unscented incense.
Smoldering
is what
stick.
it is. It's like unscented incense.
I
really thought I was going to have to walk into the ocean because you told me that whole thing was wrong.
The textbook definition is a punk is a smoldering stick. So it's a smoldering stick.
Smoldering stick.
Yeah.
We are back at the market, and Peggy is still looking for her pears.
Sounds like a cool metal band. Smoldering stick.
I do like that.
They just helicopter the whole time.
So we're back at the market. Peggy is still looking for those damn pears. And there is a street vendor that sells a lot of the Dia de los Muertos items.
Yep.
And he's telling her that all of them are authentic. They're locally crafted masks. In the culture, they have deep social and religious importance.
Mm-hmm, yeah, that's nice. The tourist shit. Yeah.
I taught art for a while and taught at a couple of local schools. And every year at the end of October, first part of November, we would do Dia de los Muertos, sugar skulls.
Yeah.
And man, those kids love to do that. A lot of them weren't ever introduced to that culture, even though I had a high Hispanic population of kids.
Some just didn't know it.
Yeah, they just didn't know it. And so that tells you how America tends to squeeze that kind of stuff out of people.
Literally, they used to squeeze the culture out of people.
They had so much fun doing those. So they were super cool.
Well, it's weird. To me, it's really weird when you see people get offended about Mexican culture in Texas, or when people are like, "Oh, they need to go back to where they came from," and I'm like, "Well, they came from Texas. It used to be a part of Mexico, right?"
Yeah.
You do realize that they've been in Texas longer than your ancestry's been in Texas.
Why don't you go tell those American Indians those same things?
Yeah, because that's the same concept, really. Yeah,
it's freaking crazy. But yeah, she's just like, yeah, that's nice. Have you got any pears? He's like, oh, right, you're here for the paper mache pear. Yeah. So obviously, a lot of white ladies from Texas there looking for paper mache pears.
There's a whole racket,
and so she shows him
somebody's missing out.
She shows him the magic combination of a dead frog and a pear at the same time, and the frog is all dressed up with a little scarf. He's got his fork and his knife, and he's ready to eat this giant pear.
I don't want to make light out of a horrible situation, but imagine if there was this whole paper mache pear smuggling ring, and cartels were shooting.
Well, there may be
villages for paper mache
because
pears.
We see that kind of here, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, there seems to be a little bit of it going on.
He hands her the frog with the pear. She just breaks the frog right off.
Yeah, right off of the pear.
He says,
pockets the pear, throws the frog out.
He says, well, the pears aren't sold separately. And she goes, oh, it's perfect. Muchos gracias. I'm not even going to haggle. I have to pay for the frog, right? And he says, yes. So she does haggle.
Of course.
And so she says, it's so beautiful. I really don't know how I can thank you. And this is where we get a possible smuggling going on here.
And this is this is where this trivia comes into play. Okay, so this plot line here. So I am going to do a little spoiler before we actually get through this whole part. But this is the best point for this trivia because it gives you a sort of something to think about as we're going through it. So this particular plot line here, it involves Peggy. She goes and she delivers a package for someone. They all kind of suspect that there's drugs in it. Well, there's a Mary Tyler Moore show with a specific episode where Mary is asked to deliver a package from Minnesota to a friend of a friend in Mexico. And the whole time, she thinks that it's drugs, and then it ends up not, of course, it ends up not being drugs in that package either. So it was called, the episode of the Mary Tyler Moore show was called He's So Heavy, He's My Brother. So she delivers a package for a Mexican immigrant who her friend and neighbor, Rhoda Morgenstern was the neighbor's name.
Yeah, she had her own show.
Yeah, she did.
Rhoda.
Yeah, Rhoda. Yeah, absolutely.
Which is not as good.
Not as good at all. Didn't last near as long and probably was canceled within a week. But she was wrong. They wrongfully suspected this guy was a drug smuggler. So when they go down there, of course, Peggy's package ends up being a pear. Well, their package ends up being...
Don't spoil it. We don't know that
yet. Well, I told you there was going to be spoilers.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying. It ends up being a toucan, right?
2 candles.
Oh, 2 candles.
2 candles. So that's what she ends up smoking.
You were going to say toucan. I thought I was really smart being able to get ahead of that. And so he says, Senora, I have a friend just across the border, and I don't trust the mail. The address is on the box. Would you deliver it to me? And I just wrote down the words, mule box.
Mule box, yeah.
So she says, well, that'd be my pleasure, amigo. Gracias. Oh, my, it's wrapped so pretty, isn't it? And she's talking to Luann. She says, I wonder what's in it. Not Luann. She's talking to Min.
Min.
Yeah.
Sorry,
and
Min.
So, we run through all the characters.
Con Min,
Bill.
One of the Supernuisant phones.
Boom.
There we go.
Yeah. And she says, I'll tell you what's in there. Cocaine, black tar, PCP, you name it. I see 2020 special all about this. You mule, Peggy Hill.
Yeah, you're a mule, Peggy.
It's wrapped like a damn Christmas gift, though, or a birthday present. Yeah.
I mean, it's good to be suspicious, I guess. It's not like they know the guy.
Sure.
Unless Peggy has specifically went to the same guy and got him before. But, gotten pairs before. But it doesn't, we obviously know this is the first time she's been there since she was in whatever school she said. Exchange program.
Yeah. So we...
Paper-mache pear. I just don't understand the appeal.
We're back at the condo, and Hank is still working on the door. And we see Dale come out of the bushes. He says, Hank Hill, is that you? He said, Dale, what are you doing here?
And that's weird. Like, if one of my friends popped up somewhere like that,
in another
unannounced, in another country, a 9-hour drive, Dale.
He said, I was just out for a drive. Thought this place might have clean faculty or facilities.
Yeah. Hopefully, they've got clean faculties, too.
Clean faculties.
Managing the facilities.
He goes, well, I guess it's a 9-hour drive. I guess I better stay then. So he literally drove 9 hours, hid in the bushes until he saw Hank, then pops up and then invites himself to stay.
Yeah, easy.
What a guy.
Easy vacay.
We see Connie and Bobby back. They're still watching for the boom.
And you can hear
there's a dump truck that comes by.
You can hear the brakes of the trash truck to pick up the dumpster.
Well, they're hiding behind the dumpster. Yeah. It picks it up. They don't move.
It's funny. So it moves it, and they're still standing there. And then they put it down. I really like that.
She's like, funny. I think it's a dud. He said, yeah, let's give it 15 more minutes. They're still staring at Spaghetti Man. So we are now back at the condo.
And the owner of the condo is there.
We're at the pool. And there's all these little kids standing in line to get on this tiny little slide, and you see Dale standing there with his farmer's tan.
Yeah.
He's waiting. He's got a cigarette in his hat and everything on, and he's waiting in line. And like you say, the owner is there. And he says, hey, you skinny gringo, I don't know you. Are you a guest? And he says, I'm staying with the Hills in 5B. He says, 5B upstairs? Damn touristas. Yeah. You try to rip me off, it'll be the last time.
Somebody missed his siesta.
Yeah. And that's all we see. He doesn't tell Dale to get out of line or anything. He just says, here, he gets upset because he knows he's staying with the Hills.
Yeah.
So now we're at the condo and it's nighttime. Peggy is just sitting there staring at that mule box. Dale is rooting around in the mini bar. Hank is shaving for some reason, which I didn't really understand. And then Luann is over there unwrapping her makeup from that she's been hiding in that.
Rubbing lead all over her face or whatever it is.
And so
there was actually something I read about lead that
something I read about lead.
It was like 2 generations after millennials, like the 2 or 3 generations behind millennials.
Yeah,
have been exposed to like extreme amounts of lead, and that's what they explained the whole like weird polarized politics in like older people.
right.
They explain it by they have been exposed to, they have lead poisoning in their heads, and it's causing.
They think the weird politics comes from lead.
Well, it's causing a generation of people to have a lower IQ.
What about all the kids that ate paint?
What about Beavis and Butthead huffing glue?
There was a lot of glue huffers, yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of glue huffers in the 80s.
My dad used to run an electronics store downtown, and we got a lot of. He was the guy on the call list, in the middle of the night whenever the alarm would go off.
Yeah.
There was a lot of homeless guys that would kind of, try to get in the back or whatever because the door didn't lock real great. And so they would get in there just to try to get out of the rain or out of the cold or sleep or whatever.
Yeah.
And he used to get a lot of guys that would come in and they bought, I want to say it's dial cleaner. So it is it's a spray can, an aerosol spray can of cleaner that you would spray on like dials and knobs and stuff to keep the gunk from building up.
Yeah.
And they would buy these big cans of that, take it across the street, spray it in a paper bag, and just pass out. So,
oh, damn. Cheap high.
Yeah, it was a cheap high. But they knew where to go. After that, they stopped carrying it. So we are at night again. Like I say, Dale's rooting through the minibar. Hank is shaving for some reason. Luann's got her makeup, and Peggy is staring at the mule box. Bobby kind of tries to sneak in a little bit, and he says, "Boy, now I know why they call it beach volleyball. Volleyball is really fun." Trying to totally cover up for it. Peggy's like, "Bobby, come here. Do you think I'm naive?" And he's like, "Oh shit, I got caught." No. She says, "Am I a fool who just believes whatever I'm told?" He immediately is just like, "I'm sorry." She says, "Why on earth did I trust this man? There could be anything in this package, anything. I'm so estúpido." She says, "Estupido. Estupido."
Estupido.
And so then you get Luann over there going through her makeup, and she goes, "Oh, they had to kill 10 turtles to fill one little jar. Neat." Just love the fact it's just neat.
Neat.
Outside, we see the owner talking to a couple of cops, and they're kind of pointing towards the place. And Luann goes, "Oh, no, it's the police." And so she thinks that they're there for her. Bobby says they know I tried to blow up one of their monuments, so he thinks they're there for him. Luann's like, no, they think I'm a makeup smuggler. And then Peggy,
they're flushing everything. Yeah.
Peggy thinks that they're there because she's a mule, so she's jamming this box down into the toilet there. She's jamming it down with the brush. And then Luann goes nuts and says, "We all have to put on lots of makeup." And then Bobby's over there, just tears rolling down his face. He's got a bunch of this makeup on his face, and he goes, "This tastes like turtles."
This tastes like turtles. He's got not just on his face. He's got a bunch of it smeared around his lips because he's sitting there chewing on it.
Lipstick, and he's got it rolling down his eyes.
And as a child, I have been one of those kids that ate crap you weren't supposed to eat.
Sure.
And I do remember once sticking lipstick, a whole tube of it in my mouth, and biting it off, and instantly regretted it.
Yeah,
I don't remember the flavor. I don't remember anything, but I do remember jamming it in my mouth and then breaking like the whole chunk of lipstick off and instantly going, "Oh,
yeah." I remember when I was a kid, they had these flavors of lip balm that girls would get.
Oh, they still have those.
Well, but I'm saying they just came out. So there was
about,
like the A&W root beer, there was strawberry and all that stuff. And I remember tasting one of those and thinking, boy, that doesn't taste anything like.
So they sell them in packs, and they have like chapstick ones now because my son, he has a problem with having dry lips, so he uses a lot of chapstick, and that's what I got him. I got him a pack of soda flavors, and candy flavors, and there was like a Reese's Pieces one where it tastes like Reese's or something.
So as Bobby is smeared with this lipstick and telling us that it tastes like turtles, Dale is trying to go out the bathroom window. Hank is just like, "What the heck is going on?"
Yeah.
And Dale, you hear from Dale, "I was never here." And then Peggy's like, "Peggy Hill's nobody's mule." And then she finds out that it is one of the pears in the box. She could have just taken the pear. And Hank's like, he's had enough of it. He's just, "Come on out here, everyone. Come on. We've
got nothing to hide."
And they're standing there in front of the cops, because the cops and the owner are there. You got a wet Peggy. You got Bobby with makeup and tears running down his face. You got Luann with a whole bunch of makeup.
Yep.
And then you hear Dale fall out the window. Oh,
yeah, you hear him thunk when he hits the ground.
Yeah, and that immediately takes us to court.
Takes us to the magistrate. So the magistrate is voiced by a Argentinian actor who has appeared in quite a few different American films and TV shows. His name is Caustulo Guerrera, and he is been in Terminator 2. He was Enrique Salcida in Terminator 2.
Yeah.
He was Arturo Marquez in The Usual Suspects.
Oh.
He was in Amistad. He was the Spanish priest in Amistad.
Okay.
So he's played a few fathers. There's a movie called The Celestine Prophecy. He played a Father Jose, and then Father Paez. He played in Our Family Wedding.
He played a lot of priests.
Yeah, he's played a lot of priests. He also played in The Purge, Anarchy. So he's done a few things. As far as voices and stuff goes, too, he's done some.
Well, he's in this
Duck Dodgers, Star Trek: The Next Generation. He did an episode on. So he's one of those guys that's been in a few different things.
He's in this for a very short amount of time.
Well, he's in a lot of things for a very short amount of time.
He says,
but he is definitely renowned. He's even been in some of my favorite video games. He's been done voices. He voiced. Oh, man, anybody that's played Diablo 2 will know it. Geglash. He did a voice for Geglash in Diablo 2.
Yeah, I'm not up on my Geglash.
Yeah.
He
for those of you who know that, yeah.
He says, you will pay the Kahndo manager 8,000 pesos. And then, of course, Dale, being Dale, says, but the key fit, you must acquit. And he says, 10,000 pesos. And then he has the bailiff confiscate their identification, which, good Lord, Dale, just shut up. Right?
Yeah, Dale talks too much.
But how much is 10,000 pesos, though?
Oh, right now.
Do you know what the conversion rate is?
Yeah,
look at the conversion rate. Because it can't be a whole heck of a lot. I can't imagine it's
how many Mexican pesos are we talking?
10,000.
10,000 is probably $5,000.
Oh, I doubt it's even that much.
No, $500.
$500.
So 10,000. Yeah, because it's 5 cents.
Yeah.
5 cents.
So between these three guys, they can't come up with $500 to pay this thing off.
That's crazy.
And so I think it's funny the way they start talking about it, because the next scene is you see them back out on the street. And by the way, it's just the three of them for some reason. It's and I don't even know why Dale's there, to be honest with you, because the crime, quote unquote crime, is just between Hank and Con. Right, because Con rented the place. Hank's in the
it wouldn't
upstairs.
be as fun if we didn't have Dale with us.
That's true.
Would it be as fun?
That's true.
You know, and what I like about this episode the most too is it really does touch on the immigration stuff.
Oh, it absolutely does.
Like the immigration issues.
Here in a minute,
like
we get to a lot of the immigration issues. Yeah. But they are walking down the street and they're obviously forlorn and just upset about it. They end up at the fountain in the middle of the little town there. And Hank's just like, look, let's just pay the money and go home. And then Con, my money not fluid. Take 2 weeks to raise funds. You pay, I owe. What?
He's such a scammer.
You don't have any money?
He's a scam. He's a scammer. Come on.
I know he had enough money to buy beer.
Money. He's a super scammer. Look how he scams him. He's about to scam him again here in a minute. So
Hank's like, I can't cover it. If we could just get back to Arlen, I can have him garnish my wages. Again, it's $500.
$500.
And so he says, but we can't leave the country. They took our ID. And then here comes Dale again, always trying to help. Are you kidding? We won't have any trouble driving through that checkpoint. They'll just wave us through, pretty as you please. And Con's like, really? And he says, well, Hank and me, because we're Angloid. He says, they'll haul out and we'll give the third degree.
Yeah.
So
I like this part right here where Hank goes, well, maybe we'll be safer if we all split up.
Hank's
Dale,
pissed
you
off.
come with me. Con, you're on your own.
Yeah, Hank is pissed off.
Pissed.
And so the two of them start to walk away, and then Con pipes up and says, hey, Hill, you can't leave me. We Americans, Hank.
No lime in our beer. Yeah, we
right.
sure sent those mariachis running. Ha, 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 ha.
And then he's like,
I like his laugh. Ha, 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 ha.
And then he's like, help me, Hank. It was really like he knows he's in trouble.
Well, but again, it's just the scam. Like he's like, oh, he could get out of the situation easily.
Yeah, probably.
But it's just a scam.
So
it's all scamming.
The next thing we scammers. The next thing we see is we're back at the condo. Everybody's all packed up, and Connie and Min are like, bye bye. And then Hank is, y'all get going now. Dale, Con, we'll be along after we clear up this little misunderstanding. What was funny to me is both the minivan and the car with Peggy in them, boy, they peel out I mean, they're just like, bye, and they just take off.
Yeah, they got out of there quick, bat out of hell.
Kahn doesn't think it's a great idea, and Hank tells him, well, here's another idea. We go on without you. And so then Kahn says, okay, and has to get in the trunk of the car.
Yeah,
now,
he's singing the song. Do you know who sings this song? Here we go.
Wait a second. I got one for you before that.
Okay.
Do you know whose car this is?
Oh, it looks like...
who is the red convertible?
Yeah, it looks like... I don't know. I can't think of his name. Boomhauer's car.
It is not. It is Nancy's car. And you know how I know that?
Oh.
Because the plate is WITHRGRL, Weather Girl.
Oh, okay.
The plate on the car is
I didn't
Weather
notice
Girl.
that.
Yeah.
Good one, Mike.
It's
Gosh,
it's Nancy's car.
Yeah, good one, Mike. Damn, I missed that. I was too busy trying to figure out who sang all the songs that he kept singing his karaoke songs.
Yeah. I was very proud of myself when I paused it.
That's good.
No,
that's
Weather
good.
Girl. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I'll go to mine now. So do you know who sings the song "Poetry in Motion"?
Poetry. Oh, this is the same one. This is Blinded Me with Science again.
Nope. When I see my baby, what do I see? Poetry in motion. Walking by my side, her lovely locomotion. Johnny Tillotson.
I don't know that.
It's an older song. It's a.
See, I thought that was because
it's like
in Blinded Me with Science he says poetry in motion also.
1960.
So
it's like right out of the. It's like a song right out of the 50s.
The funny thing is,
1960.
they are, he is back there singing, and it's all coming from the trunk, and there's like pothole, and they're just weaving all over the road.
Oh, they're hitting potholes on purpose. Yeah.
So they get to the border, and Dale has got it all under control. He says, now just follow my lead and play it cool. Hank's like, well, what if they find Kahn? He says, I know my Mexican legal system, which I do. We'll get about 15 years with a starvation diet of moldy bread and warm water. He says, distilled water? No. And, of course,
not even distilled.
A total lack of toilet paper and privacy. And Hank's like, oh, my God, I can't go while people watch.
I can't go while people watch.
So Dale, being the ever-confident man he is, he says, then let me do the talking. The guy comes over and says, where y'all from? He says, Arlen, Texas. But it is so quivery. Like as soon as
Arlen, Texas.
As soon as any law enforcement or authority figure starts questioning Dale, he freaks out.
He folds like a lawn chair.
But he says, "Where are you from?" And he goes, Arlen, Texas. And the guy's like, "The guy's really nice." He's
nice
like,
town.
"Yeah." He's like, and then Dale's just like freaks out and says, "Run!" The cigarette drops out of his mouth. He freaks out. He takes out of the car. Kahn jumps out of the trunk, which I don't know how he got out. Because I don't think they had those release handles at that point.
Yeah, I don't think they did either.
But it reminds me of that scene in The Hangover where he jumps out of the trunk all naked.
Ken
Jeong jumps out of the trunk all naked.
That was a good show.
And then even Hank, he's like, and he just runs off. So all of them are on the lam now, and in this point in history, they took a commercial break. So now we see all three of them running down the street, and they run into an alley. They're all panting and sweating and doing all this stuff, and Hank's like, I think we lost them. We'll be okay. Kahn is convinced that they're screwed.
Yeah, and then he goes, no, we're American. We got to find a payphone and hope Ross Perot's 800 number is still working.
All right. So I got a little thing here.
Yeah, because I don't know anything about Ross Perot's phone number.
So Ross Perot ran for president. He was from Texas. He was a Texas businessman. Big ears. Made fun of a lot. But he wanted to simplify all these systems, and flatten out the tax and all this stuff. But he had these 1-800 numbers where people could call in and talk about the issues, or hear his take on the issues.
Kind of like them hotlines where you call your representative.
Yeah. Well, he could leave. You could leave a number. You could talk to Ross Perot and all this stuff. So I looked that up. One of his 1-800 numbers was 1-800-685-7777.
Are you going to try to call it right now while we're on the air?
I did call it. I did call the number. It is now the Medical Alert Center.
Oh, okay. Shout out to the Medical Alert Center. Ross Perot. Is it Ross Perot's Medical Alert Center?
No, it was Ross Perot. Ross Perot's
so
dead.
They didn't hold on to the name or nothing.
I was really hoping it would still be a phone answering machine.
I was hoping that
Ross Perot.
I was hoping that when you called it, no matter what it was affiliated with, was Ross Perot.
Ross Perot's Medical Alert
Ross
Center.
Perot's Medical Alert Center, and that his family was getting like royalties for the usage of his name or something.
Ross Perot's Medical Alert Center. Are you on the floor?
Yeah.
So
I have fallen and I can't get up.
Khan says he's not worried about it. Why you want to call that nut? The border is right there. Millions of people cross over every day. We can too. No big deal. Hank, of course, being Hank, says illegally, no. America's my country and I love her. I wouldn't enter her in any way that's unnatural.
Yes.
What a weird
What
phrase.
a weird-ass phrase. Yeah, that was really, really weird. So, yeah, I actually came here illegally.
Yeah?
Yeah, so I was an illegal immigrant until...
Get him, guys.
Until I was 21. Until I was 21, I was illegal.
Yeah.
We were what they call visa overstays. So we came here on a travel visa and never went home.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We just stayed here.
Yeah. Well, good for you. And then Dale pipes up and says, "We have no choice, Hank. The INS had their cameras trained on us. The border guards think we're smugglers. I'm too pretty to go to jail." Which he is not too pretty to go to jail.
No.
We are back in the street, and they're wandering around trying to figure out what to do. They wander upon these two, and here's what I wrote down: blonde twin douches. Who have
blonde twin douches,
which have frat boy shirts on, and we find out why they're douches. But he says, "Excuse me, what did it cost you to rent these mopeds?" They're standing in front of two mopeds, and they say, "Actually, we own these, but we're looking to sell them." He says, "Well, maybe we can help each other out. The only thing is we're a little short on cash." And these two douchebags look at each other and just like raise their eyebrows. Next thing we see is all three of them on mopeds. Of course, Khan is sitting behind Hank on the same moped.
Yeah, which is weird.
And then Dale.
You figured Hank would make him ride with Dale instead of him. Yeah.
But he's sitting behind him. Khan is griping because that watch that they traded apparently belonged to his grandfather. And then you see Dale, and he doesn't have any pants on. He's in his whitey tighties, and he says, "That was my only pair of button-fly jeans."
Yeah.
So they are.
There's a lot of scenes with him just in his whitey tighties running around.
And then they flash back to the place where they got the mopeds. Two poor tourists come out, and they're looking for their mopeds. They don't know what happened to them. So obviously,
they got
the
jacked.
two guys were douches. They sold mopeds that weren't theirs for a watch and a pair of
mopeds.
button-fly jeans.
Button-fly jeans.
So we're back.
Have you ever worn button-fly jeans?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think it's ridiculous. I'm not sure why zippers are bad.
I don't understand. I never
zippers
really understood
work just
those.
Fine.
Well, not only do zippers work just fine, it's like, I don't know, form and function at the same time.
Button-flies were around.
It just seems like it takes forever to take a piss with button-flies.
They were around before zippers.
Yeah.
So, like when denim jeans or dungarees were first invented, I mean that's the only you had.
It was
to
a
get
button fly.
Yeah, you had to get
all
them
they had was a button fly.
Closed somehow. So that's what they did. Okay, so we are back on the road. And Dale, of course, is weaving all over the place, wanting people to look at him. Ha ha! Somebody look at me. They finally look over.
Yeah, he's doing no hands or something. Yeah,
such an idiot. They finally look over, and of course, Hank and Khan crash because they're looking back at him.
The second they look back at him, boom, they hit a rock. Yep. Yeah, literally, like as soon as he turns his head.
And the only thing Dale can ask is, "Did you see me?" And
yeah, we saw you, bud, but you're a jackass.
Hank says, "Yeah, Dale, you looked really cool for your next trick. Why don't I kick your ass?"
Kick your ass.
And then he tells Khan to get on the back, and then he tells Dale, "You're Lucky Pierre." I've never heard that phrase in my life. Lucky Pierre.
Heard that.
It obviously means you got to sit in the middle of three people.
A Lucky Pierre. Let's look that up.
The middleman is Lucky Pierre, which
we need to be like.
I don't really understand, but
here we go. Great. The Lucky Pierre from the Urban Dictionary. Let's see what it says here. Okay, so.
Okay, I'm going to tell you what I think it means.
Okay, let's see what you think it means, and then I'll tell you what it means.
I think it means a threesome, and the guy in the middle gets to both enjoy and be enjoyed. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay, so the person in the middle position, hold on. A Lucky Pierre, the person in the middle position of a three-person threesome.
Yeah.
To achieve the status of a Lucky Pierre, they must be both penetrated by the person behind them and penetrating the person in front of them.
That's what I thought.
But the key is simultaneously.
Sure.
So there you go.
And why Pierre? French? I guess that's where we got this position from the French. Thanks, French.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it became Lucky Pierre, but it's specifically the middle guy in a gay threesome.
I'm gonna start calling people Lucky Pierre.
Or Unlucky Pierre depends on if you want to be there or not.
They start the one moped back up that's still in good shape, and of course it's Dale's. The engine sputters out real quickly. Oh, yeah,
and then the tires are flat as hell. Yeah, they're barely moving.
They're screwed.
There's too much weight on it. Yeah,
so they get off. Khan says it'd be faster if we walk, and then they start walking in the desert. Khan knocks Dale's hat off, and he says, Did you see? Getting back at him. It's now getting towards nighttime. You hear the crickets chirping. They're walking in the desert, and some more people that are trying to cross the border start coming up on them. And Dale's like, "We've been captured," and they become part of this group of people. And here's where we get like a statement on immigration.
Yeah,
they get to a part of this group of people that are crossing the river and coming into Texas illegally. Looking for a better life, and they get to the river, and he sees, or they all see, people putting all their stuff on top of their head so they can wade through the river and none of their stuff gets wet.
Yeah, and then Dale lifts his shirt up and rips the bandolier of cigarettes off.
He has a bandolier of cigarettes off. He also gets the ones out of his boot. And puts them up on top of his head and goes out into the river. Hank goes straight out into the river. He's ready to go. And then Khan, which I don't understand this, he's on the other side and says, Hank, I can't swim. And Hank's like, of course you can't. And then so he gives him a piggyback ride.
Yeah, and he's standing on his shoulders, and he's struggling the whole time. He's like panting and struggling, and Khan is like on top of his shoulders. Oh, look at the mighty river. So much beauty,
Khan
so much
power. Still going to get wet here, right?
Humbles a man.
So I don't understand this.
Well, it's walking.
He tells him, he says, you're a good friend, Hank, and friendship based on truth. I broke into top Kahndo on purpose. So he gets off. He falls off of Hank.
Well, he gets thrown off of Hank. Hank throws him off because he goes. Right. He tells him right here. He goes, "You good friend, Hank, and friendship based in truth."
That's when he throws him.
And then he goes, "I broke into top Kahndo on purpose, and I'm sorry." And he goes, "Well, what? Damn you, Khan! It's your fault." And he throws him.
And then Khan just swims right over there.
Not only does he swims like he's been swimming for his entire life, which. Him being Laotian and saying he can't swim would be hard for me to believe because if we didn't have dams where we're at right here, we'd be underwater probably because of the way the river moved.
He says, Khan, I thought you said you couldn't swim. He said, yeah, I'm a big fat liar.
Big fat liar.
I don't understand that, Khan. I just, not the C-O-N,
it's because he's petty.
K-H-A-N.
It's because he's petty and weird.
So they get to the other side of the river, and Hank sees stuff floating in the river. He talks about how it's filthy.
Yeah, it's filthy. Look at this.
He picks up a pair of underwear that's floating around, and then from the side you hear, Hank, little help here. So we understand that it is Dale's underwear. We see also somebody that is crossing. She's wearing a USA shirt with an American flag on it, and she goes, he won't last 2 days in the U.S.
Yeah, that made me laugh. Yeah, he won't last 2 days in the U.S.
So they get to the big fence, and Hank is kind of in awe. He says, America, Texas, home.
Yeah, and it's crazy, because the way the immigration and stuff works, and I don't want to get like too political or whatever on a show where we try not to, but a lot of what I want people to understand about it, and the reason why I talk about it, and I like talking about it because it's affected me like huge in my life, immigration stuff. The problem isn't people coming here. The problem is the system that we have set up is like so complex to navigate. It's just really complex to navigate. It's expensive. It's outdated. They ask you ridiculous questions. One of the questions they asked me during my whole process was if I was affiliated with the Nazi Party of Germany of 1945. That was the exact phrasing.
Wow.
And I was apologized to. This was like 2011 or so.
Okay. All right.
And they were asking if I was affiliated with the Nazi Party of Germany of 1945. And they even apologized to me. The lady that had to ask me all these questions.
We're thinking the questions might be a little stale.
Yeah, they're more than stale. No, it's just a whole system is antiquated. It's hard to navigate.
If you were, would you tell them? You see what I'm saying? I mean,
I don't think anybody
that's just
would,
the stupidest thing.
That's what it is. Just one of those. This is what she said. She said this is one of those questions we have to ask.
Yeah.
no matter
I'm sure.
what your affiliation is with anything. It's just a weird question.
Oh, you don't put it on
are
those
you a
folks.
prostitute? Literally, she said, are you a prostitute?
Yeah.
Do you sell drugs?
But I mean, you don't put it on those folks. It's just their job, you know?
Yeah. Well, that was the lawyers. It was the lawyer's paralegal that had to do all that. It was a part of the paperwork or whatever for the immigration stuff. And that's what she said. She apologized. She said, well, these are absurd questions, and I realized that you're only, at this time I was only in my 20s. She goes, I know you're only 21. There's no way you would be affiliated with the Nazi Party of Germany of 1945. Yeah. And I said, well, you need to update that then, Nazi Party of whatever's going on.
He said,
update the date a little bit.
He said, no, but I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
So he again, Hank is taken back, America, Texas, home. And then here comes Con. Look how easy it is getting in this country. Oh, I can't believe I had to learn the Bill of Rights. When am I going to use that? And Dale pipes up, you'd be surprised, Con. I take the fifth on a daily basis.
Yeah. I thought that was great because he was quick with it, too.
And then he comes to, he's just going to jump onto the fence. He jumps about 3 inches up, and then they have to help him over.
Yeah, so he boosts. So Hank boosts Dale over, and as soon as he boosts Dale over, Con just does like this leap and jump, runs up Hank, and then runs over him. He's very athletic. Don't let he's like an MMA god. He's like super athletic
And of course, Dale is just gone.
Out of there.
Poor Hank, he's on the other side of the fence, and you see the guard lights and the dramatic music starting to swell.
You got to give me a hand,
yeah,
Dale.
He's just looking for anybody.
Yeah, Dale, you can see Dale running from bush to bush and then sprints out of there.
Yeah, and then finally, Con does something decent, and he says, Gribble gone, take my hand. And it's funny because you know, the scene is they join hands like two colors,
wrists.
You know,
they grab each other's wrists. The unification.
Yeah, it's very unifying. And then they pop up over the other side of the fence, and he says, "Welcome to the land of opportunity, Hank." Yeah, and then we hear the sirens, and then we're back at the Hank Hill house.
Yeah, and they're all staying in the alley, and they're all slurping down cold brewskis.
Yep, and we hear yep. And then, of course, we've got a fifth now. Con is out there with a beer, and he says, hey, you know what's funny?
For once, he's actually out there enjoying a beer with him.
He says, this time I own Texas soil first. Ha, he's the immigrant. I smuggle him in. Talking about Hank. And Hank's like, very funny, Con. He says, hey, I live next door to Alien. My property worth nothing now. Hank laughs. He says, you get you get in the baby way. I had to memorize all presidents. You couldn't do it. That stretch between Polk and Buchanan wipe you out. So you ever hear of Garfield? He more than a cartoon cat, you know. He's part of my country's history.
Yeah,
now, here's what I want to know. Did President Garfield have something to do with where he came from? Because I have no knowledge on President Garfield other than the fact that he shares the name of a cartoon cat. This would have been maybe World War I-ish?
James A. Garfield? Nah, way before World War I. He's more like
it's the 1880s?
1860s.
Okay.
1861 to 63. So he's the president right before Lincoln.
Artie, deep dive.
He's the president right before Lincoln. No, I know this one. You said this one out already. Yeah, no, James A. Garfield. He was the president. It's right before Lincoln.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Did he have anything to do?
Pretty darn sure.
With Laos?
Oh no, actually it was. Hold on.
Rutherford B.
No,
Hayes?
Chester A. Arthur. So it was him. Then it was Chester A. Arthur, and then I think Chester. See, I'm telling you, all these presidents right here don't really matter. No, it wasn't Chester A. Arthur.
Don't matter.
That's not a president.
Well, anyway, I would love to hear from Artie how Garfield is tied into.
I think he's saying that his country is the
Laos.
United States. I think that's what he's meaning by that.
Maybe he is.
I think that's what
maybe
it
there
is.
was a Laos tie. I don't know.
I think that's what he's saying.
So we get the birds chirping and everything's great now, and we get our credits. During the credits, we see outside of K Pasta.
Okay, hold on. I found it now. Okay, so it goes James A. Garfield. Then it goes Chester A. Arthur. That was him for sure. Then it goes Grover Cleveland. And these were all short terms, 2, 3, 4 year terms. And then it was Benjamin Harrison. So these must be the guys after.
Oh, yeah. They're after Lincoln.
The Civil War.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Are they after Lincoln? Yeah,
but we're back at our credits.
He was the 16th president. Yeah, so
during the credits, we see the Italian boy with the pasta in his lap outside of K Pasta, and we never see it blow up. So it was truly a dud.
Never see it blow up. And according to the trivia here, we've got a trivia line about that. It says a firework that size would most likely blow the entire front of
That's
the
what
building
I'm thinking,
off.
right?
Yeah,
I mean, that would have been a terrorist act. But we do get at the 20th Century Fox, we get Monsignor Martinez saying, Vaya con Dios.
Vaya con Dios.
And that's it, man.
That's
that is the
episode.
end of that episode.
That
was 3 days at the Kahndo.
Yep, the Kahndo, which is actually that was another trivia deal.
It's like 3 days at the Condor, right?
That's a movie, right? Yeah. That's what it was. 3 days at the Condor. So, want to thank everybody again for tuning in, checking us out. We appreciate everybody that's new, and of course, we appreciate everybody that continues to listen to us, and we hope that everybody that's just finding us for the first time, y'all continue to enjoy what we're putting out. We hope you enjoy our Friday episodes. We're going to try to start mixing it up a little bit on them, and every now and again, you might get an episodic episode like this one, or you might just get me and Mike ranting about some stuff. So
that's true. It could be a rant.
You could find us at roguemedianetwork.com.
Roguemedianetwork.com.
And you can find us on all social medias at BWAAAKOTH. And I want to thank everybody for your engagement and everything.
Especially the Twitter account this week.
Yeah, I've been spamming a lot on the Twitter account this week just to see what, well, not spamming, shameless self-promotion.
There you go.
And I appreciate everybody that's interacted and stuff like that. We've had some brands interact with us, which is it's not like a huge thing, but I think it's pretty neat. Yeah,
Cup of Noodles,
Astroglide, Slick
Deals. When I told people about Astroglide, they freaked out. Yeah. Milk Duds. Yeah, and all these brands interacted with us, which was great.
Yeah, which is cool. Well, I don't know what it means or what that measures to, but we appreciate all that.
Shout out to whoever's running those social media accounts because they did tweet right back at us, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, and again, everybody, we appreciate the support, and
we got to get in with that Wendy's account.
Yeah,
Wendy's is super snarky.
They have a Twitch. They stream video games on Twitch.
Yeah, but they are super snarky on their Twitter also.
Yeah, they are. They're on Twitch too. They're funny on Twitch.
Really?
On the Twitch chat, yeah, they're pretty funny there too.
Who's streaming?
Wendy? Come on, it's Wendy.
No, come on.
Who
There's
else
a Wendy, really? That's
or Dave Thomas?
No.
From the grave. No, I don't know. I don't know, honestly.
I got to go check out the Wendy's Twitch account.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, guys. Thanks again for being here. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.
Wimatanye.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.
Why don't more infant formula companies use organic, grass-fed whole milk instead of skim? Why don't more infant formula companies use the latest breast milk science? Why don't more infant formula companies run their own clinical trials? Why don't more infant formula companies use more of the proteins found in breast milk? Why don't more infant formula companies have their own factories instead of outsourcing their manufacturing? We wondered the same thing. So we made ByHeart, an infant formula company on a mission to get a lot closer to the most superfood on the planet, breast milk. Our patented protein blend has more of the important and most abundant proteins actually found in breast milk. We're the first and only U.S.-made formula to use organic, grass-fed whole milk, not skim. We even conducted the largest clinical trial by a new infant formula company in a quarter century, with clinically proven benefits like easier digestion, less spit up, and softer poops versus a leading infant formula. And we make our own formula in the USA and our very own factories in Iowa, Oregon, and Pennsylvania. ByHeart, a better formula for formula. Learn more at byheart.com.